Hi, I'm Caroline Taylor. This is John Whitfield. We're attorneys in Nashville with the law firm of Whitfield Bryson and Mason. We have had some people that have inquired about some trucking accident questions, and so we wanted to answer those to the best of our ability. So first question that was written in is from Jean and says, I was rear-ended by an 18-wheeler truck last week. While I didn't have any major injuries, my car is completely totaled. The truck driver said he couldn't slam on his brakes because it would have caused his load to smash through the back of his cab. Is that true? And if so, how does that affect my claim?
Well, thanks, Gene, for the question. First off, truck accidents are different than your run-of-the-mill car accidents. Trucks have greater, more stringent obligations in regard to what they do when they travel down the interstate. I mean, it's easy to understand. They're great, big, huge rigs, 18 wheels. They have certain requirements under federal law that they have to comply with. And so as a result, it's different than a regular case. In regard to the answer of your question, it's the responsibility of the driver of the truck to make sure that his load is loaded appropriately. He's got the obligation to look ahead, and his primary responsibility is to those people that are also on the road with him. And it's not an excuse to say, well, I didn't hit the brakes because I was worried about my load in the back. That's not acceptable. That's his responsibility driving one of these huge rigs.
Absolutely. So Sam also wrote in and said, my wife was hit by a truck driver a few days ago. I immediately made my way to the crash, and luckily she was okay, but the truck driver looked like he hadn't slept in days. Are there rules for how long truck drivers can work?
Well, thanks, Sam. And that goes back to what I said a second ago. Yes, the answer is yes. There are rules and regulations regarding how long a truck driver can drive one of these huge rigs. It's mandated by federal law. And it used to be back in the day that there were certain types of manipulation of these logs that these drivers have to maintain. Now, you and I have had cases before. We've got some now even that comes into play. And now we can look, and there are the digital devices that are inside these 18-wheelers that you can download and you can obtain that information. So yes, the answer is they've got a certain amount of time to drive it, and a certain amount of time they should not be driving. That's important in a case like this.
Absolutely. And making those records electronic has certainly helped the manipulation. You know, back in the day when you could write in how long you had worked, that was certainly easier to manipulate than it is now. So next question is from Harrison, and he asked, are trucking companies responsible for damage caused by rubble or other small pieces of cargo that flies off the truck and hits other cars?
Absolutely, they are. And anyone that's been on the interstate before, you'll see an 18-wheeler, and in many instances, you'll see these big tarps on the back of the trailer itself. They are responsible to assure that they tie down everything reasonably so that it doesn't fly out and cause injury. We had a case one time where a wheel actually came off one of the trailer and hit a motorcyclist and killed this guy's wife. And that's an example of what I'm talking about. They've got the obligation to make sure that things don't fly off the back or don't fly off their trailer that can harm anybody else.
Sure. Last truck accident question is from Kay, and she said, what happens when a truck accident is caused by bad maintenance on a truck? Who is responsible for those types of accidents?
Well, thanks, Kay. And that's exactly what I was talking about with the case we had with the wheel coming off. These interstate motor carriers are under stringent guidelines as to how they operate. The federal government, even the states, are responsible for making sure that these 18-wheelers comply and are, with federal law and state law and are safe. Maintenance is a very, very important part of running a reasonably safe operation. And the trucking company has a responsibility to make sure when they maintain these trucks, they do it appropriately so that the trucks don't cause injury to somebody else on the road.
Absolutely. All right, well, if you have any other questions related to trucking accidents, feel free to comment below, and we'll do our best to get back to you and answer any of those questions that you may have. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.